The private box at Steffi Graf Stadium. The private box at Steffi Graf Stadium is reserved for dignitaries, royalty, and the world's most powerful people. It usually sits empty during first-round matches, but on this June afternoon, as Eala prepared to face streaking Queen's Club champion Donna Vake, a figure emerged from the shadows of that exclusive suite. Not a tournament official, not a sponsor, but a man whose net worth exceeds $100 billion, whose name is synonymous with revolutionizing the modern world. Bill Gates had arrived in Berlin. And he wasn't there for the tennis. He was there for her. Why did the Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist choose a WTA 500 event in Germany to make his move? And what did Eala offer that left the entire tennis world absolutely speechless? Berlin, Germany. June 17, 2026. Steffi Graf Stadium, Center Court. The grass at Steffi Graf Stadium was pristine, cut to perfection for the third day of the Berlin Open. 25,000 seats waited to be filled. Philippine flags were at the ready. The chants of the crowd were poised to echo across one of tennis's most historic venues. Eala walked onto center court carrying the weight of a nation on her shoulders. Just days earlier, she had suffered a stinging 6-2 defeat to her close friend Eva Joek at Queen's Club. The loss had snapped her momentum and raised familiar whispers. Is she burning out? Can she sustain this level? Standing across the net was Donna Vake of Croatia, a streaking champion who had just authored one of the most improbable fairy tales of the grass season. The 29-year-old had entered Queen's Club as a lucky loser, only making the main draw after another player withdrew. She had turned that second chance into a tournament victory, defeating Emma Raducanu in the final. It was her first WTA 500 title, making her just the seventh lucky loser in the Open era to win a tournament. Vake had surged from number 76 to number 33 in the rankings. She was streaking. She was confident. She believed she could extend her winning run. But Eala had beaten her before, twice. Their first meeting at the ASB Classic in Auckland had been a gritty three-set war. Eala dropped the first set 4-6, then rallied to win 6-4, 6-4. A week later at an exhibition classic, Eala had swept Vake 6-3, 6-4. 2 matches, 2 victories, and a pattern the Croatian could not ignore. The crowd expected a battle. Instead, they got a demolition. From the very first serve, Eala dictated play. Her left-handed angles neutralized Vake's power. Her movement was fluid, almost effortless. She read Vake's shots before they even left the racket, cutting off angles, robbing the veteran of time and space. The first set was over in 29 minutes, 6-2. Vake tried to adjust in the second set. She varied her pace. She attacked the net. Nothing worked. Eala was locked in, her focus absolute, her execution flawless. When the final point landed, a backhand winner that kissed the sideline, the scoreboard told the full story of complete domination. 6-2, 6-3. Eala had extended her mastery over Vake to 3-0. She had advanced to the round of 16, where world number 2 Elena Rybakina awaited, the 2022 Wimbledon champion who had defeated her in Rome just weeks ago. As she raised her fist to the crowd, a small smile playing on her lips, she had no idea that the best was yet to come. Because in the VIP section, high above center court, someone had been watching. Someone whose presence alone would turn a routine victory into the most unforgettable moment of her entire Berlin campaign. Berlin, Germany. June 17, 2026. Steffi Graf Stadium, VIP section. The private box at Steffi Graf Stadium is usually reserved for dignitaries, royalty, and the world's most powerful people. On most days, it sits empty during first-round matches, a silent testament to the exclusive nature of the sport's upper echelons. But on this June afternoon, as Eala prepared to face streaking Queen's Club champion Donna Vake, a figure emerged from the shadows of that exclusive suite. Not a tournament official. Not a sponsor. A man whose net worth exceeds $100 billion, whose name is synonymous with revolutionizing the modern world. Bill Gates had arrived in Berlin. The Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist, a lifelong tennis fan who plays the sport regularly, sometimes for up to 3 or 4 hours at a stretch, had made an unannounced appearance at the WTA 500 event in Germany. He had attended the BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells just months earlier, and his presence at major tennis tournaments had become something of a tradition. But Berlin, a WTA 500 event in Germany, this was unexpected. Word spread through the stadium like wildfire. Fans turned their heads toward the VIP section, phones raised, whispers multiplying. Tournament officials scrambled to confirm the sighting. Even players on adjacent courts paused to glance up at the box where the tech titan sat, his attention fixed entirely on center court. Why was he here? Gates had played charity matches with Roger Federer, raising millions for the Swiss Legends Foundation. He had joked about never qualifying for Wimbledon. He was a true student of the game, a man who understood that tennis wasn't just about power, but about precision, resilience, and the refusal to accept limits. And on this day, he was watching Alex Eala. The match was already in full swing when Gates took a seat. Eala, completely unaware of her distinguished spectator, was dismantling Vake's game with surgical precision, her left-handed angles, her fluid movement, her absolute refusal to break under pressure. It was the kind of performance that transcended the scoreboard. Gates watched in silence, his expression unreadable. But those who knew him could sense his approval. He had seen something special in the 21-year-old Filipina, a story that mirrored his own philosophy of breaking limits and defying expectations. When the match ended and Eala raised her fist to the crowd, Gates stood and applauded. Not the polite clap of a casual spectator, but the deliberate acknowledgement of someone who recognized greatness in the making. The tennis world didn't know it yet, but the private meeting was about to begin. Berlin, Germany. June 17, 2026. Rotweiss Tennis Club, private suite. The room overlooked center court. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, Alex Eala could see the grounds crew beginning to prepare for the next match. The Philippine flags that had been waving in her honor were now being folded by fans still buzzing from her victory over Donna Vake. But Eala wasn't thinking about the match. She was thinking about the man sitting across from her. Bill Gates, the Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist worth over $100 billion, had requested a private meeting. His presence at the Berlin Open had already sent shockwaves through the tournament. Now he was sitting across from a 21-year-old from Quezon City. The tech mogul's love of tennis is well documented. He has played charity matches with Roger Federer across Switzerland, Spain, the United States, and South Africa, raising millions for the Roger Federer Foundation to improve educational opportunities for children in Africa. He has called tennis a core part of his fitness routine. He has joked publicly about never qualifying for Wimbledon. But he had never before requested a private meeting with a young player at a WTA 500 event, until now. Alex, I've been following your journey, Gates said, his voice warm but carrying the quiet authority of someone who had spent decades studying what makes people succeed. Your Miami Open semifinal run, your Birmingham title, the way you signed that waiver when the WTA told you to withdraw, that took real courage. Eala listened, her expression unreadable. You remind me of something, he continued. When I started Microsoft, everyone said it was impossible. When I started the foundation, people said philanthropy couldn't scale. And when I started playing tennis with Roger, people said I'd embarrass myself. He smiled. The people who change the world are the ones who refuse to accept the limits others place on them. Aya's breath caught in her throat. I'm not here to offer you money, Gates said. I'm here to offer you something more valuable. Perspective. I want to help you see beyond the next tournament, beyond the next ranking, beyond the next point. Because what you're building, not just your tennis career but your legacy, is bigger than any trophy. The room fell silent. Eala had faced fines, fees, and a WTA that had once told her she wasn't fit to play. She had signed a waiver and won Birmingham anyway. She had faced the best players in the world and refused to break. But nothing had prepared her for this. Berlin, Germany. June 17, 2026. Rotweiss Tennis Club, private suite. The question hung in the air. Why her? Bill Gates, the man who revolutionized personal computing and then dedicated his fortune to eradicating disease and poverty, did not make a habit of attending WTA 500 tournaments. He had played charity matches with Roger Federer across 4 continents. He had attended the BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells. But Berlin, a 21-year-old from the Philippines, this was different. "I've been watching you for a while," Gates said, his voice calm but deliberate. "Not just your tennis, your story. The way you carry yourself. The way you refuse to accept the limits others try to place on you." He paused, choosing his next words carefully. "When I was starting Microsoft, everyone said it was impossible. When I started the foundation, people said philanthropy couldn't scale. And when I started playing tennis with Roger, people said I'd embarrass myself." He smiled. "The people who change the world are the ones who refuse to accept the limits others place on them. You remind me of that." Aya listened, her expression still unreadable. She had faced fines, fees, and institutional resistance her whole career. She had signed a waiver and won a title anyway. She had faced the world's best and refused to buckle. But nothing had prepared her for this moment. "I'm not here to offer you money," Gates continued. "I'm here to offer you something more valuable, perspective. I want to help you see beyond the next tournament, beyond the next ranking, beyond the next point. Because what you're building, not just your tennis career, but your legacy, is bigger than any trophy." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small folder. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has a program for emerging leaders, athletes, scientists, and entrepreneurs who are using their platforms to create real change in the world. "I'd like to nominate you." The room fell completely silent. Aya stared at the folder, then at Gates, then back at the folder. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "You don't have to say anything," he replied. "Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting. Keep inspiring. Keep making the world watch." He smiled warmly. "The foundation would be honored to have you." Berlin, Germany. June 17th, 2026. Rot-Weiss. Tennis Club. The aftermath. The meeting with Bill Gates lasted just over an hour. But its impact on Alex Aya's life would be measured in years, not minutes. Gates had not offered her money. He had not offered her a sponsorship deal. He had offered her something far more valuable, a nomination to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's Emerging Leaders Program, a prestigious initiative designed to support athletes, scientists, and entrepreneurs who are using their platforms to create meaningful change in the world. For Aya, who had spent her entire career fighting for recognition, the nomination was validation of everything she had worked for. Not just her tennis, but her character, her resilience, her stubborn, unshakable refusal to accept the limits others tried to place on her. "I don't know what to say," she had whispered during the meeting. Gates had smiled. "You don't have to say anything. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting. Keep inspiring. Keep making the world watch." The Berlin Open continues. The grass season rolls on. Wimbledon looms on the horizon, where Aya is chasing a seed in the top 32. Her ranking sits at number 35, and every single point matters. But something has shifted. Something fundamental. The meeting with Gates was not about money. It was about recognition. A man whose net worth exceeds $100 billion. A man who revolutionized personal computing and dedicated his fortune to eradicating disease and poverty, had chosen to spend his evening with her. He had seen something in her journey that resonated deeply with his own philosophy of breaking limits. "He told me that the people who change the world are the ones who refuse to accept the limits others place on them," Aya later told a member of her team. "I've been fighting that my whole career. It's nice to know someone like him sees it too." The legacy win or lose in Berlin. Seeded or unseeded at Wimbledon. Alex Aya has already accomplished something this week that transcends tennis entirely. She has captured the attention of one of the most powerful people on the planet, not through fame, not through sponsorship, not through marketing, through resilience, through humility, through the quiet, relentless, unyielding refusal to break. Laban always. And the next match is already waiting. Bombshell. Bill Gates' surprise visit to Germany for Alex Aya leaves the tennis world speechless. The Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist, worth over $100 billion, made an unannounced appearance at the Berlin Open to watch the Filipina star dismantle Donna Vaque 6-2, 6-3. Gates, a lifelong tennis fan who has played charity matches with Roger Federer across 4 continents, requested a private meeting with Eala following the match. During their hour-long conversation, he offered her a nomination to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's Emerging Leaders Program, a prestigious initiative for athletes and innovators creating meaningful change in the world. "Alex reminds me of something," Gates said. "The people who change the world are the ones who refuse to accept the limits others place on them." The tennis world erupted. The hashtag #GateMeetsEala trended globally. Filipino fans celebrated across social media. And Alex Eala, still processing the surreal encounter, prepared for the challenges ahead, including a potential Wimbledon seed and the grass season beyond.